Hey, it's James, Fathers, Rights, and Resources, hashtag how I got custody. I just saw a cool video on the ADA advocate. That guy's doing great work with people with disabilities who are not getting access to the court system or getting accommodations. And the judges continually crap on uh, 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 American Disabilities Act legislation and requirements of accommodations. But so I'm giving credit that kind of tipped me off to this idea, but I've talked about it before to a point. If you go in a courtroom and there's no recording, there's no court reporter. You know, I went into a courtroom, my first court hearing, and the mother said some stuff when she tried to get an anti-harassment order against me, and I regretted not getting a court reporter. Well, I was in front of a criminal judge, and I said, I demand my right to a recorded hearing. And I can't even remember what authority I was citing on that, but the guy who mentored me said, you know, you can demand your right to a recorded hearing. And so I demanded my right to a court reporter. There's court reporters in the courthouse that work there, so I demanded a court reporter. So we had to wait 20 minutes for a court reporter. Now, if you don't have a court reporter and the court's not being recorded, and you just pull out your own phone or put a tripod on there. I know when I was first doing this, there was a father's rights advocate who went down to the courthouse, and he set up a tripod in a courtroom. They said, what are you doing? He goes, I'm recording. And they said, you can't do that. Say, bullshit. Yeah, I can. The Public Records Act of Washington State and the RCW. And he cited the Public Records Act. Most states have a Public Records Act. Now just think about this. A lot of you guys have no understanding whatsoever of who the government is and their role. So you walk in and they crap on you, and you walk out with your tail between your legs like a little bitch. Because you don't know who you are, and you don't have any balls to stand up for yourself or your rights. But if your fries are cold at McDonald's, you'll go up there and you'll raise hell because you care more about your fries than you do your kid. So when you go into court and they say, and you walk in with a video camera and put up a tripod, and they say, what are you doing? Say, I'm recording this public hearing. They say, you can't do that. Number one, where's the legal authority that says that I can't do that? This is a public facility. I can record anywhere in public, on a street corner, on a sidewalk, over a highway. If I want to record the traffic going by and just want to study it for my leisure, I could take video of a pretty hill with a lake out in the forest or in the woods. I'm in charge of this courtroom because this courthouse is built by my taxpayer dollar. You are a public servant. Now, understand this. This is okay. The fact that people, the average person, doesn't get this just shows how stupid our public court system is. You have, our Constitution says, we the people. At the very beginning, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, everything, the whole theme is we the people. I don't have it memorized off the top of my head, but I know the guts of it, okay? This country was created, flaws or whatever, slavery, raping and pillaging of natives, all that other stuff. Put that aside. The actual document of the Constitution is the most genius document in the history of mankind. This is the first experiment where the people get to have say-so in who the king, the lord, the dictator is. It's really the first experiment in the history of the world to do that. Now, we got it a lot of other places in Western civilization, even though voting is rigged. But the ideal of the Constitution is great. The Constitution doesn't say you have a right to go and do these certain things and the government has to give stuff to you. You have what the Constitution says is you are free to do whatever you want in life as long as you don't kill anybody or steal from them, for the most part. That's the short of it. And if the government stops you from going to a church, from standing on the corner and holding a picket sign, or from protesting the government or talking bad about the government, if they stop you from doing that, they're violating your rights. You don't have a government right to have the government license certain and sanction certain marriages or certain practices, or the government gets to fund certain things. The government has to stay out. That's the whole purpose. That's where people got it backwards, you know. So that being said, the government is set up so that we the people are running it. We're the bosses. the legislators go to the legislature and create laws that we approve of, supposedly, but that's what it's supposed to be. We're self-governing. So the laws that are on the books are laws that we want in place to protect us from the bad guys that are in the community, which is like 1% of the population. There's only 1% of people in prison. Half of them are shouldn't even be in prison. So it's a very small, minute people. The average person wants to just go get along and stay in their own lane and be free and not harm anybody. So we tell the legislators, just like Michael Jordan tells his agent or Jim Carrey tells his agent, go negotiate this contract for me. I want $20 million for my last year playing basketball, $20 million to do this movie. That's their agent. The politicians are our agent. They go to legislatures because we don't have time to deal with all that stuff because we're busy living our life. So they go there and create laws for us. Now, the mafia has basically taken that over, and people behind the scenes have taken that over, but they're supposed to go and do our bidding. So the laws are created, and the judges apply and interpret the law that we, the people, created. We did. Us. So you can go in there and talk shit to a judge. Stop being a pussy. Now, you don't have to go in there and be rude because the judge is just a referee in the courtroom, but coaches can yell at referees when they get the call wrong, correct? So you go in there and say, this courthouse was built by we, the people, and taxpayer dollars. This is a public hearing. There's a Public Records Act, usually in most states, you should go and find it, that says everything done by the public and by taxpayer dollars must be public, not private, not secret. And you can say, what kind of secret society are you in where you're going to make a ruling? Or what do you have to hide that you can't be proud of to the public that you serve? You work for us. The Code of Judicial Conduct says you have to maintain the public's confidence in the judicial system. The Code of Judicial Conduct doesn't say we vote you in and then you get to be God or Lord over us and get to dictate whatever comes out of your mouth. You have to follow the law and the rules and be fair and just and maintain the public's confidence. This member of the public who pays your salary, I know one guy went in to court and the judge said, well, you can't do that and this and that with your kids. He said, how dare you tell me how to raise my kids? You could shut up with that, Your Honor. You have a right to make a ruling on who gets what and who gets what time. But how dare you come into my personal life and tell me how to raise my kids? Step out of that lane and get back in your lane. And the judge shut up. Because if you get out of your purview or out of your ability or legal authority or whatever, you could tell somebody to shut the hell up. When somebody wants to walk into your house, they can't do it, right? Unless you're dumb enough to let them in. Police can't even do that without a what? A warrant. That's a court order done by a public servant of a judge after they follow the law and present evidence to show that there's reason to believe that you're trafficking children or you're cooking meth or you got stolen property. People can't just walk in and violate your rights like that. Just so a judge can't just violate your rights also and say they're going to throw you in jail if you record. So you walk in there or write a declaration. Since the court won't provide a recording of the hearing, and this is a public matter, and it's done on taxpayer dollars, and you work for the public and you got nothing to hide, I will be recording the hearing. You could tell them that ahead of time. I wrote a demand the example I gave, I wrote a demand for a court reporter, and then when I walked in, I said, I want a court reporter, so that I had it on record. Or you can always just have a secret camera on there and record it. When I had a couple of Zoom hearings when I was dealing with this crazy chick that I'd got a restraining order against, and I tried to renew it, and she tried to take me to court. I screen recorded those hearings, and you know what they say at the beginning of the hearing? Please don't record these hearings on Zoom. What the hell does that mean? Just because you told me please don't record the hearings, there's no law that says I can't record the hearings, so I'm not going to obey your personal request. Especially since that courthouse also records the hearings, so I can't have my recording. I got to pay you $25 for the CD, and I can't even have a video with video reaction. That's bullcrap. So I'm not going to give into their con game and extortion where they're saying you can't record, you have to buy a recording from us. I'm not doing that bullcrap. So and one judge got mad at me because the lady said, "Oh, last hearing he recorded," and they said, "Did the judge say that they can't record?" Yeah, that's what he said, and they actually didn't say that. The chick lied. But anyway, you go in there and say, "What's the legal authority that says I can't record?" Tell me, what's the legal authority, Your Honor? Don't just say that. This is a public hearing. What do you have to hide? What are you worried about? Are you in some secret society that's going to do something secret to me? What are you afraid of? Accountability? And then the very courthouse that you're at has cameras all up and down the hall. The streets have cameras in every corner. How come I can't record this when everybody else in the government can record me? Tell them that.